In this topic, we'll talk about monitoring your databases. Now, many DBAs or operational staffs have some sort of tool in place to monitor all their systems, but certainly their database instances. These could be homegrown tools, it could be built-in tools to the operating system, third-party tools, maybe just manual periodic checks of performance data. Doesn't matter what method you choose, but it is important that you have some sort of tooling in place that helps you gather these metrics about the performance of your system and make it available so that you can analyze how your software is performing. Now, the second principle of DevOps is to amplify feedback loops. We want to shift information left. We want developers to understand what's going on in the production system. We want to gather feedback and ensure that all the resources we use, all the other objects we might want to track, that we move that data to our developers. We move it back to the left side so that we can decide how to work on our software, what we need to focus on, and what changes we might need to do. This is the data that helps everyone understand how the system performs. Now, certainly our operations staff learn about the efficiency and performance of their resources. Is the database performing acceptably? Is it available? Is anything slow? All that. But developers also learn exactly how their code affects the system. What changes will impact performance? What changes will be used or not used? What is the value of the software? And obviously, business users can determine whether features and functions are being used by actual people. Right? Somebody may request a feature thinking that other people will use it and then realize from monitoring and observation that's not being used. This is also an important point in future software development. When we learn which parts of the software are being used or which parts of the software are being used heavily, then we can direct resources towards future enhancements in development time, and we can focus our efforts where they're needed. For databases, traditional monitoring has often been concerned with the performance of the system, right? How fast do things run? Lots of parts of the database platform are supporting the application, so we want to gather metrics, though, not just from resource usage, but from other areas. Some parts about how the application works, what features are being used, and to what extent. Now, in terms of our database platform, we often learn where our code and access is slow and how we might improve performance by restructuring the application, tuning queries, adding indexes, or something else. Monitoring helps us focus not only development resources, but also operation and DBA resources. The other area that was often important for databases is understanding your data growth. There are times that we've added new columns or new tables and we don't realize that the data load that might result from adding those. And sometimes that affects performance of the system, might affect future planning, and something else. When we monitor data growth, then we understand how our database is growing and changing and where we may need to focus resources as well. Last thing I want to talk about is that database changes are often deployed prior to application code. One of the things we will talk about in future lessons is that we look at dark launching changes. And then monitoring helps us determine if these dark launches are truly dark, or maybe there are unexpected issues. Maybe there's unexpected behavior from the application. Now, ideally, any dark launch code has no effect on the database, but we can't tell that unless we're monitoring the system and we're comparing it to previous baselines to actually determine if there's a change or not. One thing I really want to emphasize is that if you don't monitor performance of your system already, please start now. If you don't have any monitoring in place, then your operations staff is really blindly supporting the system and they really have no idea if their changes are helping or hurting performance, or if the application changes are helping or hurting performance as well.